everyone, and happy Earth Day. We should be celebrating our Earth every day, but once a year we have a special day to celebrate. And so I was asked as part of the Canton Library program to read the book that I wrote called The Jolt Felt Around the World. So my name is Susanna Shetley, and I am the author of this book. It was illustrated by Crystal Smith, phenomenal illustrator, and published by Wisdom House Books out of Chapel Hill. And I was inspired to write this book after a conversation with my two boys in the car. It was a regular morning during car line at their elementary school, and a news piece came on the radio about the Paris Agreement. And they asked me what that was, and we got into a whole conversation about global warming and what that meant to our Earth and what that could mean in the future. And at the time, my youngest son was only 5, and he said, so if we keep putting more and more trash on Mother Earth, could she just fall from the sky? And it was such an innocent question, but also such a metaphorical way that children kind of maybe think about all the trash and waste that we're putting on Mother Earth. And that was the whole, as you will see when I read this book, that was the whole inspiration for the story. So I'm going to get going with the story reading. So this is called The Jolt Felt Around the World. Mother Earth was sick and dirty. Her vibrant blues and greens were dull and growing duller each day. One could look high and low, left and right, but there was no more room for trash. The gunk weighed down Earth so heavily she began to fall from the sky. It happened quietly one day. Earthlings felt a jolt. It was only one, but something about it felt strange. Days later, another was felt, more intense this time. Meteorologists reported them as earthquakes, but they didn't feel like earthquakes. It wasn't a shaking feeling, it was a dropping feeling, and it was felt around the entire world. Space satellites researched the situation, and NASA was struck with fear at what they saw. Earth was no longer in the right spot. Not even the strong pull of gravity could hold up so much waste. Leaders from around the globe met to devise a plan. They put their heads together but couldn't agree on a clear way to keep Earth from falling. They didn't have enough time or knowledge to remove the trash. There was only one solution. Earthlings would have to flee to the other planets. Venus and Mars were closest to Earth, so Earth's leaders sent pleading messages to these two planets asking if Earthlings could relocate. Venus replied first and said, "I'm sorry, but no, you cannot move here. 15 years ago, we were in trouble and in need of fresh water, but you would not send your brilliant minds to help us." Mars then responded, "For decades, you've made fun of us by saying we're inferior to you. You've reported we aren't capable of sustaining life. Why would we welcome you with open arms?" The leaders were in shock. Earth had always been the wealthiest, healthiest, most progressive planet in the galaxy. Shouldn't the rest of the solar system be honored to help? The Earthling leaders shook off the rejection and sent 2 new messages. This time, they contacted Saturn and Jupiter. With these 2 planets being so large, perhaps they wouldn't mind a few billion Earthlings taking up a little room. Jupiter answered first and replied, "While we're sorry for your troubles, we cannot help you. You have ridiculed us for the way we worship our celestial gods, so it would be uncomfortable to have you here, sending our condolences." Saturn said, "While we probably have room, we're not too keen on accepting Earthlings. Remember when bizarre asteroids were plummeting and pelting our rings? We asked for advice from your skilled astronomers, and do you remember what you said? You said they were too busy to help us." Earth's leaders became frantic. The Earthlings were looking to them for a solution, and every day the dropping feeling became more and more extreme. Next, the leaders contacted Mercury. Mercury had fewer inhabitants than the other planets, so maybe they could help. Mercury quickly replied with a message. A while back, we wanted you to move some of your Earthlings to our planet. We sought more diversity, so we asked the overpopulated planets to offer a handful of beings to Mercury. Every planet complied but you. Now we're a thriving melting pot of a planet, so we're in no need of new inhabitants. Hesitantly, the leaders contacted Neptune and Uranus. Earth had a history of conflict with them, but they were their last options. As expected, Neptune and Uranus were still wounded from Earth's past actions and said, "We know what it feels like to need refuge. We cannot, in good conscience, welcome you here when you rejected us in our greatest time of crisis." Earth's leaders were extraordinarily concerned. In their heart of hearts, they began to feel guilty for not helping the other planets. Then they got a surprise message from Pluto, and the message read, "Dear Earth, we know about your situation and that the other planets refused you. Though we may not technically be a planet, we're willing to help. Please send Earthlings immediately. You must realize we're very small and cannot accommodate all of you. We have to be careful so we don't start dropping as well. Hope you understand. Yours in orbital faith, Pluto." Pluto didn't specify who should come, and since the leaders knew it would be chaos trying to decide who should go and who should stay, they kept Pluto's offering a secret and sent only themselves. When the secret got out, the Earthlings developed their own plan. Individuals from all over the globe began writing truthful and compassionate letters to the other planets. The letters said things like, "Venus, my name is Celia. Common Earthlings never knew you needed hydrologists. I study water cycles and would have happily visited to help you find fresh water, and for what it's worth, I would still do that. Hi there, Mars. I'm Ben. On behalf of everyone, I apologize if it seemed like we were making fun of you. There's actually an entire population of people who adore you. We're called sci-fi junkies. I would give anything to visit you, meet your beings, and explore your planet. Jupiter. My name is Mishka. I studied religion in college and am intrigued by your phrase, celestial gods. On behalf of all Earthlings, I'm sorry if you thought we disapproved of how you worship. Even though our leaders don't show it, our world embraces more religions than I can describe in this letter. Greetings, Saturn. My name is Margaret, and I've worked with NASA for 25 years. I was never told you needed advice about your rings. While I love my job, I feel like something is missing. I've never taken on a key project and would love to visit Saturn with my best team. What's up, Mercury? Tobias Russell here. I'm annoyed that no one told us you wanted Earthlings to move there. I've always felt a little unsettled here on Earth, like I don't really fit in. There are others like me. Can we still move there? Hola, Neptune. My name is Miguel, and I want you to know we cried out in anger when our planet refused you. As a former refugee myself, I understand how you felt, and my heart ached for you. I realize you may lump all Earthlings together, but please know the entire planet did not wish to reject you. Dear Uranus, my name is Rebecca, and though we knew about Neptune needing refuge, no one ever told us about your troubles. Whether you allow any of us to come or not, we send peaceful and loving wishes. And when the other planets received these messages and others like them, their hearts softened. They now understood that the small group of leaders did not reflect the humanity of Earth. Together, they discussed the letters and Earth's dire situation. They voted to let the Earthlings relocate until Earth was restored. Meanwhile, Earth's leaders heard what Earthlings had done and were impressed. They realized they didn't always know best and should listen to common Earthlings more often. Over the following weeks, Earthlings moved to the various planets. And then something beautiful happened. Within the coming years, all of the planets came together to save Mother Earth. Teams of the galaxy's best researchers, scientists, and environmentalists worked around the clock to restore Earth's health so she could thrive as she once did, and Earthlings could again call her home. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this reading, and I hope you will go out and do something for our Mother Earth, because she is so beautiful and so glorious, but we must take care of her. Thank you.